Good evening, my little angel. Have you ever wondered why the moon is round and yellow? If you have, you might find the answer for that question in tonight's story. Shall we start? The Legend of the Mid-Autumn Festival. Long ago, when the earth was young, there was only the sun in the sky, and the moon had yet to appear. All creatures lived together in harmony, speaking a single language. In those days, when the rooster crowed at dawn with his cock-a-doodle-doo, everyone understood it as, morning has come, time to rise, and so the village would awaken, ready to start the day's work. Once the adults had left for their tasks, the young ones, whether chicks, puppies, lambs, calves, or kids, would gather at the grassy field at the edge of the village. There, a nightingale teacher would lead them in song and dance lessons. At noon, they would all scurry off to bring lunch to their parents in the fields, playing together until dusk, when their parents returned, and each child would head home. Life flowed on in peaceful contentment. But one day, a quarrel broke out between the rooster and his wife over a trivial matter. The rooster, catching the scent of burnt rice, chided his wife. "The rice is burned again. You never pay attention to anything." The hen, busy with cooking and tending to the chicks, snapped back, "I'm doing my best. Why don't you help out?" This small argument was overheard by a passing duck, who gossiped to the dog and told the goat, until the whole village was abuzz with the news that the rooster and his wife were on the verge of separating. When this gossip reached the rooster, he was furious, pacing back and forth, his red-combed bristling angrily. He thought, "Is this cursed single language that has caused all this trouble? Whatever is spoken inside the house quickly spreads like wildfire across the village." In frustration, the rooster decided to take the matter up with heaven. The following day, the rooster set out at dawn with a bag of corn, heading toward and upon meeting the Lord of Heaven. He presented his grievance. "O Lord of Heaven, you have granted us a peaceful life on earth, where we work hard and are content. We have no complaints, but why have you given all creatures on earth just one language?" A single word spreads across the village, causing endless complications. The rooster recounted the trouble that had befallen his family, and then implored, to prevent any greater misunderstandings, "I beg you to give each species its own language. Let the chickens understand chickens, the dog understand dogs, the ducks understand ducks. How much simpler life would be." The Lord of Heaven considered the rooster's plea and replied, "Very well, you shall have what you ask. Return to your village, and you will find that every creature has its own language now." The rooster, overjoyed, hurried back home. As he reached the village outskirts, he met the cows in the field. The cow greeted him eagerly, but to his surprise, all he had was a strange moo. Startled, the rooster leapt aside, and the cow just smiled toothily. Just then, a dog ran up, barking, "Woof, woof, woof," with a happy face. But the cow, the rooster, and the dog all looked at each other in confusion. unable to understand one another. Heaven has granted the rooster's wish. Each species spoke a different tongue now. From that day on, though they all lived in the same village, the chickens, dogs, cats, ducks, and geese each kept to their own kind, and life went on much as before. For the adults, things seemed more manageable, with fewer misunderstandings. But the children were lonely. In the mornings, after the parents left for work, the chicks, puppies, ducklings, and others no longer knew what to do. They could no longer attend the same classes because they didn't understand one another or the teacher. At noon, they would bring food to the fields in silence, and in the afternoons, they stayed inside, forlorn. The once lively grassy field became quiet, and the young ones wore sad expressions like wilted flowers. The mothers, seeing their children's unhappiness, grew worried. They no longer went to the fields, staying home to comfort and care for their young. Eventually, even the roosters, goats, and bulls stayed home, concerned and regretful. They wonder how the adult's small selfish desire could rob the children of their joy. Feeling the most remorseful, the rooster returned to heaven to plead again. This time, the rooster set out at noon. Upon arriving, he bowed low before heaven, his bright red comb nearly touching the ground. O Lord of heaven, you have granted each species its own language, which is, indeed, convenient. But our children, the chicks, ducklings, puppies, calves, and kids, can no longer play together. They have become sad and sickly. Without children's laughter, the adults have also grown weary. Losing interest in work, the fields are overgrown, and the village is silent. What is it you wish for now? Sky God asked with a frown. Punish me as you see fit, the rooster said, bowing even lower. But please, let us return to speaking a single language. Celestial King looked at the rooster with pity, but shook his head. The decrees of heaven cannot be undone. Is there nothing you can do? The rooster begged, clutching the hem of Sky God's robe. Heavenly Lord sighed deeply, then reached for a golden pomelo from the tray of offerings. Take this fruit. It will be my gift to your children. Now go home. The rooster, puzzled by Sky God's words, returned home, clutching the pomelo. A rainstorm delayed his journey that evening, and night has fallen when he reached the village. As the rooster paused by the roadside, he noticed an unusual light, soft and relaxed, unlike the sun's harsh glare. Looking up, he saw the golden pomelo come heavenly, glowing in the dark sky, casting a gentle light over the earth. A strange sense of joy filled the rooster's heart as he gazed at the fruit. And it was by this light that he found his way home without stumbling. As he neared the village, the rooster was startled by a strange, joyous sound. Blinking in disbelief, he saw the village green bathed in pomelo's soft light. The young ones, chicks, puppies, ducklings, lambs, and calves danced together, their little wings flapping, paws clapping, and hooves stamping in unison. They no longer needed words to understand each other. They communicated through the rhythm of their movements, and the language of joy was shared among them. The golden pomelo above shone down, creating playful shadows that danced along with the children. From that night on, the sun illuminated the day for the adults to work, while at night the golden pomelo, now known as the moon, shone for the children to play. And the Mid-Autumn Festival is celebrated on the 15th day of the 8th month, the day the rooster brought back the golden fruit. On that day, the moon is always full, bright, and round, just as it was on that first night of joy. Today's story time is over. I wish my little love a good night's sleep. I kiss you long on your forehead. See you again next time.